What's up, guys? M here, and I know Halloween is technically over, but that is not going to stop me from celebrating all weekend, and it shouldn't stop you either. So, to celebrate, I'm going to be putting out 3 videos over the course of this weekend, this being the first one. And when you're getting ready for Halloween, there's certain things you got to do. First, you got to pick out your costume. Then you got to get some candy for the trick-or-treaters. And for yourself, let's be real. And third, you got to get a pumpkin. Now, you don't have to get a pumpkin. Some people apparently don't. But I would say getting a pumpkin is kind of like brushing your teeth. It's recommended. You don't have to do it. But if you don't do it, there's a good chance you're going to lose all your teeth. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how to pick the perfect pumpkin. And by pumpkin, of course, I mean Pumpkaboo. And by perfect, I mean super-sized. So I actually have a super-sized Pumpkaboo right here. I'm going to show you it right now. Let me flip this thing up. There he is. He's cool. All right, we're good. So, in this video, like I said, I'm going to be showing you guys how to catch that super-sized Pumpkaboo. Now, we're going to start off with where to find Pumpkaboo in general. There's only one place, and right now I am in, I believe, Dendemil Town. So that's the one with the windmill. And what you're going to do, from the Poke Center, up here, through this thing, this is going to bring you to Route 15. Yep. And right here, you're going to go straight down. This is Route 16, and right here, to my left, there's this busted up building with this tall grass, and this is where you're going to find the Pumpkaboos. So, that's where you get them. Now, how are you going to find the super-sized one? Well, there are actually 3 different things that you can use to identify a super-sized Pumpkaboo. The first one is its cry. So I'm going to play back my Pumpkaboo's cry and just listen to what it should sound like. One more time. Alright, so hopefully you guys heard that. And the thing with the super-sized Pumpkaboo, as opposed to the regular ones, the cry is actually a little bit deeper and a little bit slower. So that might be difficult to tell just by watching this video. But I assure you, when you've been hunting Pumpkaboos, when you've been hunting Pumpkaboos for, a good hour, you're definitely going to be able to tell the difference. Now, what if you're not playing with the volume on, or you're just really not paying attention? There are 2 other ways to identify it. One is that the super-sized Pumpkaboos will be floating very high off the ground. So when you run into a Pumpkaboo, you see they're floating because, they're a ghost. So that's what they do. But the super-sized ones will be significantly higher than any of the other ones. And again, that's just, once you start looking for them, you're going to be able to pick up on this. And lastly, super-sized Pumpkaboos always carry a miracle seed. Which means if you have a Pokemon like with Thief, or if you have the Frisk ability, you're going to be able to tell right away if they have a miracle seed, that is without a doubt a supersized one. So, now that I've told you all about that, I'm going to go into this grass and hopefully find a Pumpkaboo, and then explain this a little bit further. Oh, and before I do this, I want you guys to try and listen to the cry. So as opposed to the Pumpkaboo that comes out, and then listen to mine. So hopefully you can tell a difference. So hopefully you guys heard that. That cry was, his was a little bit higher. It was faster paced. It was kind of like a da-da-da. And mine was like a da-da-da. So you can definitely tell. Now let's look at where this Pumpkaboo is off the ground. That's my guy, looking all cool. I'm just going to go for leg attack, just so we can see. Now, this is a very small one. You could see that his feet are just over the ground. He's not even above the grass, that grass around him. And you could tell by his shape, too. Look at the size of mine compared to him. So he's a tiny one. Of course, he just hit 5 times with the bullet seed. But that's not going to do much. So I'm going to run away from this guy. We can tell he's tiny. He's not really what we're looking for. And we're going to try and find one more. Hopefully we can hear the cry again. So hopefully you heard that again. Now this guy, if you can tell, he's actually floating a little bit higher off the ground. So he's just about at the top of the grass without going over it. So that means this would be a medium-sized one. That first guy was really tiny. You could tell just by looking at him too. He's a little bit bigger than that last one. So now I would really like to try and find a large one. That might take a while, so I will try and run around and then cut to it once I find one. Alright, so it looks like we finally found a large one. And I'm not gonna lie, it took a little while. But hopefully you can see, I'm just gonna go for an attack right now. Aside from him looking physically bigger, his feet are like just about at the bottom of the grass. So you see he's hovering right along the top of the grass and then lifting above it. So that would mean this is a large size. Now the super size will be floating even higher than that. So, and as you can probably see, compared to mine, he is a little bit smaller. So learning to tell these size differences actually help. But let's go for one more thing, just so you guys can see. That would be what a large size looks like. And we're probably going to die right now. Yep. But that's okay. So yeah, those would be, what the different sizes look like. Now, the last thing that I mentioned was that the super-sized Pumpkaboos always carry a miracle seed. So because of this, there is a pretty easy way to be able to identify one. And this is actually the way that I found mine. What you're going to do is you're going to throw on a rappel. And I actually just did that while I was looking for this. But throw on a rappel. And what this does is that it's going to make things that are lower leveled not show up. So I have my Pumpkaboo in front, who is a level 36. This would be ideal, because that means things under 36 won't show up, which would weed out a lot of these smaller Pumpkaboos and a lot of things like Klefki and Amoonguss that can show up there. So the idea here is, before you start looking for your super-sized Pumpkaboo, you're going to want to look to catch just a regular one, regular size, maybe a large size, so that way you can gauge the size difference a little bit. And you want to catch one that's at level 36, and you also want that Pumpkaboo to have frisk. So then what you do, you put your 36 guy in front, you put on the rappel, and you go into the grass. And what's going to happen is, like I said, it's going to weed out a lot of the lower leveled guys. You know, they can still show up, obviously. But, oh, I forgot my Pumpkaboo died. But what this is going to do is, because for some reason, a lot of the larger Pumpkaboos are level 36. That's like the highest level you can find in this grass. And I actually think my rappel wore off because I shouldn't be finding things. But, yeah. So by doing that procedure, you're going to be able to scout out for just level 36 Pumpkaboos, which will generally be bigger ones. But because you have frisk, you will also be able to frisk the miracle seed. So like I said, if they have a miracle seed, it's a guaranteed super-sized Pumpkaboo. So between those three things, you should pretty easily be able to identify a super Pumpkaboo once you run across it. So just to repeat, you want to look out for that deeper cry. You want to look out for how high above the grass they're floating. And you want to see if they have the miracle seed. So the easiest way to catch a super Pumpkaboo is catch a regular Pumpkaboo, you know, any size, that's a level 36 and has frisk. Then put on a rappel and go in this grass and just wait. It's going to take a little while. It's not going to be that easy. It probably took me a good hour and a half to find mine. But using the rappels does make it a lot easier. And just to clarify a couple other things about these super-sized Pumpkaboos. I'll show you them again. So with these super-size, they do have a little bit lower speed, but they also have a higher attack and I think higher defense. So generally, they're probably a bit more useful than the smaller ones because they're not super offensive, so the speed doesn't really matter. But say you wanted to train them up, you know, IV train them and EV train them, just like I am. I'm thinking of using them on my team because actually I've been waiting for a ghost type Pokemon that's based off like a jack-o'-lantern. So I was pretty happy to see this guy come into the game. And what I was saying before, if you're looking to train him, if you do manage to catch a supersized one, you can breed more supersized. I'm pretty sure if the supersized that you caught is a female, which mine is, you can breed it with a male Pumpkaboo, and the result should always be a supersized. On the other hand, if you catch a male one, if you breed that with a Ditto, the offspring should also be supersized. So that's just good to know if you're trying to, you know, train one with IVs. Or, you know, if you want that supersized shiny, that's probably going to take a while, but you can use that information just to keep breeding supersized Pumpkaboos. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. And like I said, I'm going to be posting probably a battle tomorrow. And then for Sunday, I'm going to get up a new episode of Dark Rising because it's been forever. So, again, I hope this helped. And thanks for watching. See you.